and that was precious.
Mm.
Megan, I think. Are there any announcements or anything like that we need to make at this point? We've already mentioned that Nancy's service will be next Saturday. I will try to find out whether it's going to be Zoomed and then let people know. Are there any other announcement type things that we need to share? Norma?
Yes. In my scheduling of worship leaders for August, I have everything plugged in except the first Sunday, August the 4th. So I need somebody to step up and take August the 4th. And it could be somebody who's not one of our regulars. It could be somebody who has a message on their heart that they want to share.
I will also add, I got an email from Jonathan yesterday saying that he will be on vacation for the next couple of weeks and unplugged from electronic things. So if we don't see him, it's not because he doesn't like us anymore or anything like that. He's taken a little break. So we can keep him in our thoughts and prayers. I have no idea what he's doing, but he did say he was going to be unplugged from electronics for a couple of weeks.
Good for him.
In his line of work, I would think he'd need more than one break a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does he do? I don't know.
He's a hospital chaplain and social worker.
For the
Oh, wow.
VA, right?
I'm sorry, what?
For the VA? Veterans
I
Administration?
think I think
That's
so.
right, but not just the VA. He's spread pretty thin.
Wow.
Well, as you all know, Brent was scheduled to lead meeting today, and prior to Nancy's passing, I got in touch with him and asked him if he really wanted to still do that, and he was quite happy not to. So I have agreed to step in and do my bit. Our thoughts and prayers, of course, are with Brent and all of the family at this point. Even though Nancy had been ill for a while, it's still not an easy thing when a loved one passes away. For the past few months, we've been holding Brent and Nancy in our thoughts and prayers, holding them in God's love and light, thinking of them, whatever words we use to describe, holding them in the presence of the creator and lover of the universe, and asking that great being to bring healing and peace to both of them. When we pray for someone who's ill and that person passes away into the next life, rather than getting well in this life, we sometimes ask why God didn't heal them. Were our prayers answered, or were they in vain? A distinction that I find helpful is to recognize the difference between curing and healing. Curing means fixing an ailment so that it no longer afflicts the person who has it. Healing means bringing wholeness to the afflicted person, and that may or may not involve curing of their physical ailment. It's my belief that we are made whole when we cross the divide between this life and the next. So our prayers for healing are always answered, just not always in the way we'd hoped. Especially if we've defined healing as curing physical ailments. Sometimes the process of passing to the next life allows relationships and wounds to be healed, emotional wounds. And what a blessing that is for those who have carried those burdens for throughout this life. Thinking of death in this way may be helpful in an on an intellectual level, and maybe even on an emotional one. But the passing of a loved one still hurts. We're grieving not so much for them, because we believe they're whole and healthy in the next life, but we grieve for ourselves and the empty spot in our lives and hearts where our loved one resided. One of my favorite authors is Anne Lamott. We had the privilege of hearing her at Earlham not too awfully long ago. And this is what she says. If you haven't already, you will lose someone you can't live without, and your heart will be badly broken. And you never completely get over the loss of a deeply beloved person. But this is also good news. The person lives forever in your broken heart that doesn't seal back up. And you come through and you learn to dance with the banged up heart. In Isaiah 41:10 we read, "Don't fear, because I am with you. Don't be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will surely help you. I will hold you with my righteous, strong hand." And Isaiah 49 says that God comforts God's people and has compassion on afflicted people. And I would add, on those who love them as well. Thanks be to God for comfort and compassion in times of trial. I have some hymns about prayer and comfort to share with you this morning, and then we'll enter into waiting worship. If God places a message on your heart, then please feel free to unmute yourself and to share. we've come to the time in our worship where some of us need to leave and go other places. We wish those of you who need to do that Godspeed, and we look forward to seeing you again sometime soon. The rest of us will remain in open worship for a while longer.
Thank you, Lynn,
Thank you, Lynn.
sharing those good thoughts.
Appreciated your message this morning, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks to all of you. Well, as Brent likes to say, if all hearts are clear, we'll bring this part of meeting for worship to an end. It's good to see all of you, as always. It's especially good to, Steve and Catherine, to have you all join us on a regular basis. Really appreciate your faithfulness.
I appreciate your faithfulness too.
The gal that does the election violence workshop that we were talking about earlier has an email that she sends out regularly with information about that. I'll forward one of those to you this afternoon or so. And then I think at the bottom of the email it has a link for if you want to subscribe to it yourself, and that way you'd get the information of whenever she does these again.
Thank you, Lynn. I shared in the chat a poem that came to my mind.
I saw that.
Wendell Berry. It was read at our wedding.
It's great.
It made me think of what Brent went through.
Wendell Berry is one of his favorite poets, also. I know. So
The imagery, it's all about the imagery. The words just carry the imagery. It's this beautiful poem.
write down the first line so then I can look it up somewhere else here.
Well, I'll send you a link.
Oh, okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, it doesn't come across as a poem when you cut and paste.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny what that does to things. But so Chip, how's Brent doing? I know he's had time to prepare, but you're never ready, and I had a feeling this is going to be really, really hard for him. Many people who knew. Go ahead.
I know he's taking it hard, but he's, putting on a brave face and.
Right. People who don't know Nancy for the most part, but she was what I would consider to be his anchor. She was the one who stayed home and kept the home fires burning, and he went out and did his things, but she was always there to be his support. And he's going to miss that.
I'm not sure what I'm going to do on Fridays because I would always go over and have lunch with them on Fridays.
Yeah, your life is going to be different. That's right.
How are you doing, Chip?
Okay.
Having friends by your side matters.
Yeah. Thank you, Sue, for asking that. I hadn't risen to the top of my head yet that this is really hard for you too, Chip. So,
Yeah.
So
I've known her all my life.
That's true.
Yep.
She was being funny and kind of bullheaded with the hospice nurse when I was there, and the girl said, has she always been like this? And Brent goes, ask Chip. She's known him. Chip's known her longer than anybody.
Yep.
That was Nancy.
That's right. She had her opinion, and that's the way it was.
I was so blessed when I went over there the Friday before she died. I called Brent to see if it was okay to come over, and he said yes, but she probably won't know you. She hasn't been knowing people. But I went over and sat with her and talked, and she did know who I was. And in fact, she cried when I left. She didn't want me to leave. And Brent said she pretty much stopped knowing who anybody was after that. So I was blessed that she did know me on our last visit.
Yeah, you were. That she knew you to the end. That's right.
As a witness, I think she was blessed too.
Yeah, yes, I would agree with that too. So.
Yeah.
Well, I will see some of you at her memorial service next Saturday, and others of you next Sunday.
And find out, let us all know if it's on Zoom.
Yes, I will see if I can find that out and then let everybody know.
I'll be there.
It's still good to know whether that's an option or not, especially in our group when so many of us aren't right here physically. So
Right.
We'll see what we can find out and let you know. Take care.
Bye.
Love you guys. Take care.
Bye.